You are not running out of time someday. You are running out of time right now. Every hour you waste is an hour you will never touch again. Every dream you delay becomes harder to reach. Every excuse you accept teaches you to live as if tomorrow is guaranteed. It is not. Your time is your life. How you spend your days is how you spend your existence. This book is about one decision. Stop living carelessly, stop waiting endlessly, and start treating every day like it actually matters. Because it does. And so do you. You are living as if there will always be more time. More time to begin. More time to change. More time to say what needs to be said. More time to become the person you know you could be. But what if there isn't? What if the greatest mistake you are making right now is not laziness, failure, fear, or lack of talent? What if your greatest mistake is assuming that you have forever? Most people know that life is limited. They understand it intellectually. They know people grow older. They know opportunities disappear. They know circumstances change. They know life eventually ends. But they do not live like they know it. They wake up and waste another morning. They postpone another decision. They ignore another opportunity. They spend another evening distracted. And then they tell themselves the most dangerous word in the human language. Later. Later, I will take care of my health. Later, I will start working on my dream. Later, I will spend more time with the people I love. Later, I will leave the situation that is destroying me. Later, I will become disciplined. Later, I will finally start living. But later is not a plan. Someday is not a strategy. And tomorrow is not guaranteed. You have a choice. You can spend your time deliberately, or you can lose it accidentally. That is the truth. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you are spending something you can never earn back. Money can return. Opportunities can return. Possessions can be replaced. Careers can be rebuilt. But time only moves in one direction. Once an hour leaves your life, it is gone. Forever. Think about that. The hour you spent yesterday will never exist again. The morning you wasted last week cannot be recovered. The year you spent waiting for permission has disappeared permanently. You cannot negotiate with time. You cannot ask for a refund. You cannot purchase yesterday. You cannot store unused hours for the future. Time does not care whether you used it wisely. It moves anyway. That is why you must stop living like you have forever. Most people do not waste their lives dramatically. They waste them quietly. 5 minutes here. An hour there. Another evening scrolling. Another weekend recovering from a week they hated. Another month talking about goals they never started. Another year waiting for motivation. And slowly, almost invisibly, their lives disappear. That is the danger. You rarely notice time leaving. There is no alarm every time you waste an hour. There is no warning when an opportunity will never return. There is no announcement when you see someone you love for the last time. Life simply moves. And one day, people look backward and ask, "Where did the time go?" But that is the wrong question. The better question is, where did I send it? Because your time does not simply disappear. You spend it. You give it to something. You give it to your work. You give it to your relationships. You give it to your fears. You give it to your distractions. You give it to your excuses. You give it to your dreams. Every hour is an investment. The question is whether you are investing in a life you actually want. Look at your last 7 days. Not your intentions. Not your plans. Not what you told yourself you were going to do. Look at what you actually did. Where did your time go? How many hours went toward becoming stronger? How many hours went toward building your future? How many hours went toward the people who matter? How many hours disappeared into meaningless distractions? The answers may make you uncomfortable. Good. Because discomfort can wake you up. You do not need another year of comfortable excuses. You need the truth. And the truth is that every day you delay becoming the person you want to become, you are training yourself to remain the person you are. Read that again in your mind. Every day you delay change, you strengthen the habit of staying the same. That is why waiting is dangerous. You think you are postponing a goal, but you are actually building an identity. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," you become better at delaying. Every time you avoid the difficult conversation, you become better at avoidance. Every time you choose distraction over discipline, you make distraction easier. Your actions are training you. The question is, what are they training you to become? You have a choice. That phrase will appear again and again throughout this book because you need to remember it. You have a choice. Maybe you cannot control everything that happens to you. Maybe you cannot control how much time you have. Maybe you cannot control every circumstance, every setback, every disappointment, or every unexpected event. But you can control what you do with this moment. You can control your next decision. You can control where your attention goes. You can control what you begin. You can control what you stop tolerating. That is where your power lives. Not yesterday. Yesterday is finished. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow has not arrived. Your power exists here. Now. This moment. And yet most people spend their lives everywhere except the present. They replay the past. They worry about the future. They compare themselves to strangers. They imagine perfect circumstances. They wait for motivation. They wait for confidence. They wait for someone to believe in them. They wait for permission. Stop waiting. You don't need their permission. You don't need everyone to understand your dream. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need another motivational video. You don't need to feel completely ready. You need to begin. That's the key. Beginning changes everything. The first workout changes your relationship with your body. The first page changes your relationship with your book. The first conversation changes your relationship with the truth. The first hour of focused work changes your relationship with your future. Small beginnings matter because they break the illusion that you have forever. They force you to enter your own life. Consider the person who spends 10 years talking about starting a business. For 10 years, they research. They plan. They think. They watch videos. They read books. They tell friends about their idea. But they never begin. Then one day, they look backward. 10 years are gone. The dream is still a dream. And the tragedy is not that they failed. They never gave themselves the opportunity to fail. They never entered the arena. They spent 10 years standing outside the door. Waiting. That is how regret is created. Not always through bad decisions. Sometimes through decisions never made. Words never spoken. Risks never taken. Lives never lived. You must understand this. There will never be a perfect time. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be reasons to wait. There will always be responsibilities. There will always be fear. There will always be something demanding your attention. If you are waiting for life to become completely convenient before you start living deliberately, you will wait forever. Your life does not need to become easier. You need to become clearer. Clear about what matters. Clear about what must change. Clear about what deserves your time. Because when you become clear, decisions become easier. You stop saying yes to everything. You stop wasting hours trying to impress people who are not thinking about you. You stop giving your best energy to meaningless distractions. You stop treating your dreams like optional hobbies. You stop saying yes to everything. You stop wasting hours trying to impress people who are not thinking about you. You stop giving your best energy to meaningless distractions. You stop treating your dreams like optional hobbies. You start protecting your time. And protecting your time means protecting your life. This does not mean you must become obsessed with productivity. It does not mean every minute must produce money. It does not mean rest is wasted. Rest matters. Relationships matter. Silence matters. Joy matters. Doing nothing intentionally can matter. The problem is not rest. The problem is unconscious living. The problem is spending 3 hours distracted and calling it rest. The problem is avoiding your responsibilities and calling it self-care. The problem is wasting years and assuming you can recover them later. You cannot. That is why awareness matters. Ask yourself, if I continue living exactly as I am living now, where will I be 5 years from today? Do not answer emotionally. Answer honestly. Same habits. Same distractions. Same excuses. Same fears. Same routines. Where do they lead? Your future is not mysterious. Look at your repeated behavior. Your habits are predictions. Your routines are directions. Your daily decisions are votes for the person you are becoming. You have a choice. Continue. Or change. Not next month. Not next year. Now. You do not have to transform your entire life tonight. But you must stop pretending that nothing needs to change. Choose one thing. One habit you need to break. One conversation you need to have. One goal you need to begin. One distraction you need to remove. One promise to yourself you need to keep. Start there. Because a meaningful life is not built in one heroic moment. It is built through ordinary moments treated seriously. One morning. One decision. 1 hour. One action. Again. And again. And again. You are not being asked to fear time. You are being asked to respect it. There is a difference. Fear creates panic. Respect crée intention. When you respect your time, you stop giving it away carelessly. You become more selective, more focused, more present. You realize that every yes has a cost. Every distraction has a cost. Every delay has a cost. And every day has value. You stop waking up as if today is disposable. Because it isn't. This day will never happen again. You will never be exactly this age again. The people around you will never be exactly as they are today again. This version of your life is temporary. Everything changes. That is not a reason for sadness. It is a reason to pay attention. Look around. Be present. Do the work. Say what matters. Appreciate what you have. Begin what you have been delaying. Because life is happening while you are waiting for life to begin. And the clock is moving. Right now. You have a choice. Spend your time deliberately. Or lose it accidentally. Build your future. Or feed your distractions. Begin today. Or explain tomorrow why you waited again. But stop telling yourself you have forever. You don't. None of us do. That is exactly why today matters. That is exactly why this moment matters. And that is exactly why you must start living like your time matters. Because your time is your life. And once it is gone forever. Most people are waiting for their real life to begin. They are waiting for the promotion, the relationship, the money, the house, the perfect opportunity, the moment when everything finally falls into place. They wake up every morning, move through another ordinary day, complete their responsibilities, survive their problems, and tell themselves that one day life will become better. One day they will be happy. One day they will slow down. One day they will spend more time with the people they love. One day they will finally start doing what matters. But here is the truth. Your real life is not coming. It is already happening. This morning was your life. Yesterday afternoon was your life. The conversation you rushed through was your life. The meal you barely noticed was your life. The ordinary evening you spent staring at a screen was your life. These moments are not preparation for life. They are life. And if you continue treating ordinary days as if they do not matter, you may eventually discover that you ignored the majority of your existence while waiting for a small number of extraordinary moments. That is the trap. People think life is made of major events. Graduations, weddings, promotions, vacations, achievements, victories. But count them. How many major events happen in an average year? 5, 10, 20? And what happens during the hundreds of ordinary days between them? That is where your life actually exists. Your life is mostly mornings, mostly afternoons, mostly evenings, mostly routines, mostly small conversations, mostly repeated actions, mostly ordinary moments that seem unimportant while they are happening. That's the key. Your life is not defined only by the moments you remember. It is built by the moments you repeat. You have a choice. You can continue waiting for extraordinary circumstances to give meaning to your life. Or you can start bringing meaning to the ordinary circumstances you already have. Most people choose to wait. They say, "I'll be happy when I earn more money. I'll relax when this project is finished. I'll enjoy life when the children are older. I'll take care of myself when work becomes less demanding. I'll start living when I finally become successful." But then the project ends, and another project begins. The children grow older, and new responsibilities appear. The promotion arrives, and the pressure increases. The money improves, and expectations grow. The finish line keeps moving, That is the problem with conditional living. You create a future requirement for present happiness. You tell yourself you cannot appreciate today until something changes tomorrow. And because tomorrow always brings another challenge, you remain trapped in permanent waiting. Think about someone who spends 30 years working toward retirement. Every morning, they wake up and count the years remaining. They hate Mondays. They survive Tuesdays. They push through Wednesdays. They tolerate Thursdays. They celebrate Fridays. Then Sunday evening arrives, and the anxiety begins again. Week after week, month after month, year after year. They tell themselves that retirement will finally give them freedom. But what happened to those 30 years? Were they simply the price of admission? Were they meaningless? Were they disposable? No. Those years were their life. You cannot sacrifice decades and expect a few future years to compensate for them. You cannot spend most of your existence absent and call that success. This does not mean you should abandon responsibility. It does not mean you should quit your job tomorrow. It does not mean you should stop planning for the future. It means you must stop treating the present like a waiting room. The present is not a hallway leading to your life. The present is your life. Right now. This moment. This day. You have a choice. Be here. Or miss it. And missing your life does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like checking your phone while someone you love is speaking. Sometimes it looks like eating a meal without tasting it. Sometimes it looks like walking through a beautiful morning while thinking only about tomorrow's problems. Sometimes it looks like constantly documenting moments you never actually experience. Sometimes it looks like being physically present but mentally somewhere else. That is how life disappears. Not because time moves too quickly, but because attention moves away from it. Your attention determines whether you experience your own life. Think about your last 7 days. How many moments do you clearly remember? How many mornings did you experience consciously? How many conversations received your full attention? How many times did you stop and appreciate something simple? If you cannot remember much, ask yourself why. Were your days empty, or were you absent? That question matters. Because your life can be full of valuable moments while you remain completely unaware of them. A cup of coffee in silence. A conversation with a friend. A walk outside. The sound of rain. A meal with your family. An hour spent creating something meaningful. A few minutes of laughter. A quiet evening after a difficult day. These moments seem small, but small moments are what life is made of. You keep waiting for something enormous to make you feel alive. But perhaps the problem is not that your life lacks meaning. Perhaps you have stopped paying attention. You have a choice. Keep chasing, or start noticing. That's the key. Attention transforms ordinary moments. Two people can experience exactly the same day and live completely different lives. One person wakes up and immediately complains. Another notices the opportunity of a new morning. One person eats quickly while staring at a screen. Another slows down and appreciates the meal. One person sees time with family as an interruption. Another understands that these moments will not last forever. Same circumstances. Different awareness. Different experience. Different life. Your life changes when you understand that nothing stays. The people you love will change. You will change. Your home will change. Your responsibilities will change. Your body will change. The routines you currently complain about may one day become the memories you miss the most. Think about that. There are things you once considered ordinary that you would give almost anything to experience again. A childhood home. A conversation with someone who is no longer here. A family tradition that slowly disappeared. A friendship that changed. A moment you did not realize was the last of its kind. You did not know. That is the strange thing about life. You rarely recognize important moments while you are inside them. You understand their value afterward. But what if you stopped waiting until afterward? What if you paid attention now? What if you looked at your ordinary life and understood that some of the things happening today will eventually become precious memories? Would you rush through them? Would you complain as much? Would you remain distracted? Would you keep saying, maybe later? You do not need to become emotional about every moment. You do not need to walk through life pretending everything is beautiful. Some days are difficult. Some seasons are painful. Some responsibilities are exhausting. Some problems demand everything you have. Living presently does not mean denying reality. It means experiencing reality instead of constantly escaping it. If the moment is difficult, face it. If the moment is beautiful, appreciate it. If work needs to be done, do it. If rest is needed, rest. If someone you love is speaking, listen. If you have something important to say it. Be where you are. That sounds simple. But simple does not mean easy. Your mind has been trained to escape the present. It moves toward the past. What happened? Why did it happen? What should I have done differently? Then it moves toward the future. What if I fail? What if something goes wrong? What will people think? What happens next? Meanwhile, the present moment passes unnoticed. Again, and again, and again. You need to understand this. You cannot live yesterday. You cannot live tomorrow. You can only live now. Everything else exists in memory or imagination. Your power is here. Your relationships are here. Your work is here. Your choices are here. Your life is here. That's the key. You have a choice. Return to the present. Again, and again, and again. When you wake up tomorrow morning, resist the temptation to immediately enter the world of notifications, news, messages, problems, and demands. For one moment, recognize where you are. A new day has arrived. Not a guaranteed day. Not an unlimited day. A limited day. A day that will exist once, then disappear forever. Ask yourself, how do I want to live this day? Not, how much can I complete? Not, how quickly can I reach Friday? Not, how can I survive until vacation? Ask, how do I want to live today? Maybe you need to work with focus. Maybe you need to call someone. Maybe you need to slow down. Maybe you need to apologize. Maybe you need to begin something. Maybe you need to finish something. Maybe you simply need to stop rushing through everything. Whatever the answer is, act on it. Because awareness without action changes nothing. You do not need their permission to live deliberately. You do not need society to slow down before you slow down. You do not need your schedule to become perfect. You do not need all your problems to disappear. You need to recognize that this day matters. Today is not practice. This conversation is not practice. This relationship is not practice. This body is not practice. This life is not practice. There is no second version waiting for you. This is it. And that should not frighten you. It should wake you up. It should make you more intentional, more grateful, more courageous, more present. Stop waiting for the extraordinary. Stop waiting for life to become perfect. Stop waiting for everything to finally make sense. Live here. Work here. Love here. Create here. Pay attention here. Because your days are not standing between you and your real life. Your days are your real life. The ordinary morning matters. The difficult afternoon matters. The quiet evening matters. The small decision matters. The conversation matters. The hour matters. Today matters. You have a choice. You can continue rushing toward a future that will immediately become another present moment. Or you can finally understand the truth. This is your life. Not next year. Not after success. Not when you have more money. Not when you become more confident. Not when everything becomes easier. This day. This hour. This moment. This is your life. So stop waiting for it to begin. It already has. You are waiting. Waiting to feel ready. Waiting to feel motivated. Waiting to become confident. Waiting for the right opportunity. Waiting for someone to believe in you. Waiting for fear to disappear. Waiting for life to become easier. But while you wait, time keeps moving. That is the truth you must face. Waiting feels harmless because nothing dramatic happens when you delay. There is no explosion. No warning. No immediate punishment. You simply tell yourself, tomorrow, next week, next month, when things calm down, when I have more money, when I have more confidence, when I know exactly what to do, and then you continue living exactly as you lived before. One day becomes 1 week. 1 week becomes 1 month. 1 month becomes 1 year. And eventually, waiting stops being something you do. Waiting becomes who you are. That is the danger. You think you are postponing action, but you are actually training yourself to hesitate. Every time you delay something important, you strengthen the habit of delay. Every time you avoid discomfort, you strengthen the habit of avoidance. Every time you wait for motivation, you teach yourself that action depends on emotion. It does not. You have a choice. Wait until you feel ready. Or begin before you feel ready. That's the key. Most people believe motivation creates action. They think, first, I will feel motivated. Then, I will begin. First, I will become confident. Then, I will take the risk. First, I will stop feeling afraid. Then, I will move forward. But life rarely works that way. Action creates motivation. Action creates confidence. Action reduces fear. You do not become ready and then begin. You begin, and beginning makes you ready. Understand that. The person you want to become is waiting on the other side of action. Not thought. Not planning. Not wishing. Action. Consider the person who wants to write a book. They have the idea. They have the passion. They have imagined the finished book hundreds of times. They research writing techniques. They watch interviews with successful authors. They buy notebooks. They organize their desk. They tell people, one day, I'm going to write a book. But they never write the first page. Why? Because they are waiting. waiting for inspiration, waiting for enough time, waiting to feel like a real writer. But you do not become a writer by waiting to feel like one. You become a writer by writing. One sentence. Then another. Then another. That's the key. The first action does not need to be impressive. It needs to exist. Maybe your first attempt is terrible. Good. Now you have something to improve. Maybe your first business idea fails. Good. Now you know something you did not know before. Maybe your first workout is difficult. Good. Now your body has received the message that change has begun. Maybe your first conversation is uncomfortable. Good. Now the silence has been broken. Action creates information. Waiting creates imagination. And imagination often makes everything worse. The longer you wait to do something difficult, the larger it becomes in your mind. The conversation becomes more frightening. The task becomes more complicated. The risk becomes more dangerous. The possibility of failure becomes more painful. You create imaginary problems around a real action. Then you use those imaginary problems as reasons to wait longer. Stop. You don't need more time. You need a decision. You don't need their permission. You need to begin. How many things in your life are currently waiting for you? Think about it. The book you want to read. The skill you want to learn. The business you want to build. The weight you want to lose. The apology you need to make. The relationship you need to repair. The situation you need to leave. The conversation you need to have. The dream you keep talking about. How long have they been waiting? A week. A month. A year. 10 years. And what exactly are you waiting for? Be honest. Are you waiting for the perfect moment? It is not coming. Are you waiting for certainty? You will never have it. Are you waiting for fear to disappear? It may not. Are you waiting for someone to give you permission? They may never give it. Are you waiting to feel motivated every day? You won't. So what happens now? You act anyway. That is discipline. It's not about motivation. It's about discipline. It's not about feeling fearless. It's about moving while fear is present. It's not about knowing everything. It's about learning through action. It's not about having the perfect plan. It's about taking the next available step. You have a choice. Continue preparing forever. Or begin imperfectly. The world is full of people who are almost ready. Almost ready to start. Almost ready to change. Almost ready to commit. Almost ready to become serious. Almost ready to live differently. But almost does not change your life. Intentions do not change your life. Plans do not change your life. Potential does not change your life. Action does. You may have extraordinary potential, but unused potential is just another form of regret. You may have brilliant ideas, but ideas without execution remain invisible. You may have enormous dreams, but dreams without action become emotional entertainment. They make you feel productive without requiring you to produce anything. That is why waiting can become addictive. Waiting protects your ego. As long as you never begin, you never have to discover whether you can succeed. As long as you never try, you can continue telling yourself, I could do it if I really wanted to. As long as you remain on the sidelines, your potential remains untested, safe, untouched, imaginary. But safety has a cost. The cost is your unlived life. At some point you must decide. Do you want to protect your excuses? Or do you want to discover what you are capable of? You cannot do both. You have a choice. And nobody can make it for you. Think about the entrepreneur who spends 5 years developing the perfect business plan. They study every competitor. They analyze every possibility. They calculate every risk. They constantly improve the idea. But they never launch. Meanwhile, someone with less knowledge, less experience, and a less impressive plan begins. They make mistakes. They lose money. They adjust. They learn. They improve. 3 years later, who is ahead? The person who waited for perfection? Or the person who started and learned through experience? The answer is obvious. Life rewards movement. Not perfect movement. Movement. You cannot steer a parked car. You cannot improve work that does not exist. You cannot learn from actions you never take. You cannot build confidence by avoiding everything that makes you uncomfortable. You must move. Then adjust. Move. Then learn. Move. Then improve. That is how progress works. But your mind wants guarantees. It wants to know, what if I fail? What if people laugh? What if I waste my time? What if I make the wrong decision? But there is another question. What if you keep waiting? What if another 5 years pass? What if nothing changes? What if the regret of never trying becomes heavier than the pain of failure? What if you wake up one day and realize that fear made your most important decisions for you? That possibility should concern you more than failure. Failure teaches. Rejection redirects. Mistakes reveal. Action produces experience. But waiting produces nothing. Nothing changes. Nothing grows. Nothing moves. And the clock continues. That's the key. You are not waiting in a timeless room. You are waiting while your life is passing. Every day you delay has a cost. Maybe the cost seems small today. One missed workout. One unfinished page. One postponed phone call. One ignored opportunity. But repeated delay becomes destiny. One missed workout becomes another year of poor health. One unfinished page becomes the book never written. One postponed phone call becomes a relationship that quietly disappears. One ignored opportunity becomes a lifetime of wondering what might have happened. Small delays accumulate. That is why you must kill the habit of waiting. Not manage it. Not negotiate with it. Kill it. When something matters, take the first step quickly. Not recklessly. Quickly. There is a difference. You do not need to make enormous decisions without thinking. You do not need to abandon wisdom. You do not need to act without preparation. But preparation must have a deadline. Thinking must lead to deciding. Planning must lead to execution. Learning must lead to application. Otherwise, preparation becomes procrastination wearing professional clothes. You tell yourself you are getting ready, but you are hiding. You tell yourself you need more information, but you are afraid. You tell yourself the timing is wrong. But the truth is, You do not want to feel uncomfortable. Recognize it. Then act anyway. You have a choice. Comfort now, or growth later. Excuses now, or results later. Waiting now, or progress now. Choose. Maybe you are listening to this chapter while thinking about something you have delayed. Good. Do not ignore that thought. That thing entered your mind for a reason. Maybe it is the project, the application, the conversation, the workout, the decision, the apology, the first step. You know what it is. Stop pretending you don't. You have thought about it enough. You have worried about it enough. You have imagined it enough. Now act. Not next week. Not when motivation arrives. Not when somebody believes in you. Now. Take the smallest possible action. Open the document. Write the first sentence. Make the phone call. Send the application. Put on your shoes. Walk for 10 minutes. Save the first dollar. Read the first page. Ask the question. Say no. Say yes. Begin. Small action destroys large hesitation. Remember that. Small action destroys large hesitation. Because the moment you move, you become different. You are no longer someone waiting to begin. You are someone who has begun. That identity matters. And tomorrow, begin again. Then again. Then again. You do not need one enormous moment of courage. You need repeated moments of action. That is how lives change. One decision. One step. One day. Repeated. You have a choice. Keep waiting for life to give you permission. Or give yourself permission. Keep waiting to become confident. Or build confidence through action. Keep waiting for motivation. Or become disciplined. Keep waiting for the perfect moment. Or understand that this moment is the only one you can use. You don't need more time. You need a decision. You don't need their permission. You need to begin. So begin. Begin badly. Begin afraid. Begin uncertain. Begin small. But begin. Because the longer you wait, the stronger waiting becomes. And the moment you act, the habit begins to break. Your future does not need another promise. It needs proof. Give it proof. Today. Right now. Take the first step. And kill the habit of waiting. You are busy. But are you moving forward? Your calendar is full. Your phone is constantly ringing. Messages are waiting. Emails are arriving. Tasks are multiplying. People need something from you. There is always another problem to solve. Another responsibility to handle. Another notification demanding your attention. You wake up tired. You move all day. You go to bed exhausted. Then you repeat it. And because you are exhausted, you assume you must be productive. Because you are constantly moving, you assume you must be making progress. But movement is not progress. Activity is not achievement. And busy is not the same as alive. That is the truth. You can fill every hour of your day and still waste your life. You can complete 100 tasks and avoid the one task that actually matters. You can respond to every message, attend every meeting, solve everyone else's problems, and reach the end of the year no closer to the life you actually want. That is the danger of busyness. Busyness feels productive. It gives you something to point toward. Look how much I did. Look how tired I am. Look how many responsibilities I have. But there is a question most people are afraid to ask. What are you actually building? Not, how busy are you? Not, how tired are you? Not, how many hours did you work? What are you actually building? That question changes everything. Because when you ask it honestly, you may discover that much of what consumes your time contributes almost nothing to your future. You have a choice. Stay busy, or become intentional. That's the key. Most people live reactively. They wake up and immediately check their phones. Before they decide what matters, the world decides for them. A message arrives. They respond. An email appears. They react. A notification flashes. They look. Someone asks for something. They say yes. A minor problem appears. They abandon their priorities to solve it. By the end of the day, they have spent all their energy reacting to what was placed in front of them. Then they say, I didn't have time. But is that true? Or did they fail to protect it? You have time. The question is who controls it? You or everyone else? That is the battle. And if you do not decide what deserves your attention, the world will decide for you. There will always be something to answer, something to watch, something to read, something to fix, something to discuss, something to worry about. The supply of distraction is unlimited. Your time is not. Understand that. The supply of distraction is unlimited. Your time is not. You must become selective. You cannot do everything. You cannot help everyone. You cannot accept every invitation. You cannot pursue every opportunity. You cannot solve every problem. You cannot give your attention to every voice demanding it. You have a choice. Do what is urgent, or do what is important. Sometimes they are the same. Often they are not. Urgent things shout. Important things whisper. Your phone shouts. Your health whispers. Notifications shout. Your dreams whisper. Other people's demands shout. Your relationships whisper. Immediate problems shout. Your long-term future whispers. And because people naturally respond to what is loudest, they spend their lives handling urgency while neglecting importance. Then years pass. The health problem becomes serious. The relationship becomes distant. The dream becomes regret. The future arrives unprepared. And the person says, how did this happen? It happened slowly. One busy day at a time. That is how meaningful things are neglected. Rarely through one enormous decision. Usually through thousands of small distractions. You did not decide to abandon your health. You simply kept saying, I'm too busy today. You did not decide to damage the relationship. You simply kept saying, we'll talk later. You did not decide to give up on your dream. You simply kept handling other responsibilities first. Again, and again, and again, until there was no time left. That is why you must stop using busyness as an excuse. Being busy does not automatically make you important. Being tired does not automatically make you productive. Being overwhelmed does not automatically mean you are doing meaningful work. Sometimes being overwhelmed means you have failed to decide. You said yes too often. You refused to prioritize. You confused activity with progress. You allowed other people to spend your time. Now your life is crowded with things that do not deserve you. You have a choice. Continue managing the chaos, or eliminate what created it. That's the key. Most people try to become more productive by adding another application, another system, another schedule, another technique, another morning routine, another list. But sometimes the answer is not adding more. Sometimes the answer is subtraction. Remove the unnecessary meeting. Remove the pointless obligation. Remove the distracting application. Remove the relationship that consumes your energy without respect. Remove the habit of checking your phone every 5 minutes. Remove the commitment you accepted because you were afraid to say no. Remove. 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 Your life becomes clearer when you stop carrying what was never yours to carry. You do not need to do more. You need to do what matters. That's the key. Imagine two people. The first person works 14 hours every day. They answer hundreds of emails. They attend meeting after meeting. They constantly switch between tasks. They check notifications every few minutes. They go home exhausted. They tell everyone, "I'm incredibly busy." The second person works 6 focused hours. They identify the most important task. They protect their attention. They say no to unnecessary demands. They complete meaningful work. They leave time for health. They leave time for relationships. They leave time to think. Who is more productive? The answer is obvious. But society often celebrates the first person. Why? Because exhaustion is visible. Focus is not. Chaos is visible. Clarity is not. Constant movement is visible. Deep progress often happens quietly. Do not build your life around looking busy. Build it around becoming effective. You don't need their permission. You don't need to prove how hard you are working. You do not need to respond instantly to everything. You do not need to be available every hour. You do not need to fill every empty space. You need direction. Ask yourself, what are the 3 things that matter most in my life right now? Not 30. 3. What deserves your best energy? Your health, your family, your business, your education, your creative work, your financial future, your personal growth. Choose. Because if everything is important, nothing is important. That is the truth. You cannot prioritize 15 things. You can maintain 15 things. You can manage 15 things. But priority demands sacrifice. To say this matters more means something else must matter less. Most people do not want to accept that. They want everything. Every opportunity. Every relationship. Every goal. Every experience. Every form of entertainment. Every commitment. Then they wonder why their attention is fragmented. You cannot give 100% to 10 different directions. Your energy has limits. Your attention has limits. Your time has limits. Accepting those limits does not make you weak. It makes you wise. You have a choice. Spread yourself across everything, or concentrate yourself on what matters. Think about sunlight. Sunlight can warm your skin, but concentrated through a lens, it can create fire. Your attention works the same way. Scattered attention creates activity. Concentrated attention creates results. That's the key. You do not need more hours. You need fewer distractions. You do not need more motivation. You need clearer priorities. You do not need to move faster. You need to know where you are going. What are you actually building? Ask it again. What are you actually building? When you spend 3 hours scrolling, what are you building? When you complain about the same problem without taking action, what are you building? When you attend meetings with no clear purpose, what are you building? When you constantly say yes to people because you fear disappointing them, what are you building? When you work until exhaustion while ignoring your health, what are you building? Your answers matter, because your daily activity becomes your future reality. You are always building something. The question is whether you are building deliberately. Maybe you are building stress. Maybe you are building debt. Maybe you are building resentment. Maybe you are building distraction. Maybe you are building a life that looks successful from the outside but feels empty from the inside. Or maybe you are building strength, discipline, freedom, connection, meaning, purpose. You have a choice. Every day, every hour, every decision. And remember this: rest is not laziness. Silence is not wasted time. Thinking is not inactivity. Being present with someone you love is not unproductive. Taking care of your body is not selfish. A meaningful life cannot be measured only by completed tasks. You are a human being, not a machine. The purpose of productivity is not to fill every second with work. The purpose is to create enough clarity and discipline to give your time to what matters. That includes work. But it also includes rest, love, health, presence, joy, reflection, growth. Do not become so obsessed with achieving a better future that you forget to experience the life you already have. That would be another form of wasted time. You need balance. But balance does not happen automatically. You must create it. You must decide when to work, when to stop, when to say yes, when to say no, when to push harder, when to recover, when to answer, when to remain unavailable. That requires discipline, because the world benefits when you are constantly distracted. Companies want your attention. People want your time. Platforms want your engagement. Everyone wants something. You must decide what deserves access to you. Protect your attention. Protect your energy. Protect your time. Because when you protect those things, you protect your life. You have a choice. Tomorrow morning, you can wake up and immediately react. Check the phone. Answer the messages. Enter the noise. Handle every small demand. Move quickly. Stay busy. Become exhausted. And wonder where the day went. Or you can stop. Decide. What matters today? What deserves my best energy? What must be completed? What can be ignored? What can be removed? What can wait? Then act. One important task. Done with focus. One meaningful conversation. Given full attention. 1 hour invested in your health. One unnecessary obligation rejected. One distraction removed. That is how you reclaim your life. Not by doing everything, by doing what matters. Again, and again, and again. Stop worshipping busyness. Stop wearing exhaustion like a badge of honor. Stop measuring your worth by how full your calendar is. Stop confusing movement with progress. You do not need to do more. You need to do what matters. You do not need to move faster. You need to move in the right direction. You do not need to prove that you are busy. You need to prove that you are building something worth your limited time. So ask yourself one final time, what are you actually building? Look at your calendar. Look at your habits. Look at your attention. Look at your days. The answer is there. You have a choice. Keep yourself busy, or make yourself alive, because busy is not the same as productive. Busy is not the same as purposeful, and busy is not the same as alive.
Every time you say yes, you are saying no to something else. Most people never think about that. They believe a yes is simply a commitment, an agreement, a favor, a responsibility. But every yes carries a hidden cost. It costs time. It costs energy. It costs attention. It costs a piece of your life. Because time is not separate from your life. Time is your life. That is the truth. When you give someone 1 hour, you are not giving them 60 minutes. You are giving them 60 minutes of your existence. Minutes you will never get back. So the question is not simply, what am I saying yes to? The real question is this worth a piece of my life? That question changes everything. You have a choice. Spend your life intentionally, or spend it automatically. That's the key. Most people never decide what truly deserves their lives. Instead, they react. Someone asks for a favor. They say yes. A new opportunity appears. They say yes. Another invitation arrives. They say yes. Another responsibility is placed on their shoulders. They carry it. Soon their schedule is full. Their energy is gone. Their dreams are untouched. And they wonder why they feel trapped. The answer is simple. They never chose their priorities. Other people chose them. If you never decide what matters most, the world will decide for you. Your employer will decide. Social media will decide. Advertising will decide. Other people's expectations will decide. Your fears will decide. Your habits will decide. But if you want to live like your time matters, you must make that decision yourself. Nobody else can do it. Think about a gardener. Imagine they have only one small piece of land. They cannot plant every seed in existence. They must choose flowers, fruit, vegetables, trees. Whatever they plant will grow. But every choice also means rejecting something else. Life works the same way. Your time is limited soil. Whatever you plant in it will grow. But you cannot plant everything. That is why priorities are not optional. They are necessary. You have a choice. Protect your garden. Or allow weeds to grow. Weeds do not ask for permission. They simply appear. Distractions are the weeds of life. So are toxic relationships. So are meaningless commitments. So are habits that steal your attention without giving anything valuable in return. Ignore them long enough, and they take over everything. Many people think protecting their time is selfish. It is not. It is responsible. Imagine someone who constantly says yes because they are afraid of disappointing others. They agree to every request, every meeting, every invitation, every favor, every extra responsibility. At first, people admire them. They seem generous, helpful, reliable. But inside, something different is happening. They are exhausted, resentful, disconnected from their own goals. Their health begins to suffer. Their relationships become weaker. Their dreams remain unfinished. Eventually they ask themselves, "When did my life become everyone else's?" The answer is simple. The day they stopped protecting it. You don't need their permission to protect your time. Read that again. You don't need their permission to protect your life. Some people will be disappointed when you say no. Accept that. Some people only appreciate you when you are constantly available. Accept that. Some relationships survive only because you continue sacrificing yourself. Accept that too. Not every relationship deserves unlimited access to your life. Not every opportunity deserves your attention. Not every invitation deserves your presence. Not every battle deserves your energy. That's the key. Maturity is not learning how to do everything. Maturity is learning what not to do. Look at your average week. Where is your time going? How many hours are invested in things that move your life forward? How many hours are spent maintaining relationships that truly matter? How many hours strengthen your body, your mind, your character, your future? Now ask another question. How many hours disappear into obligations you secretly resent? How many conversations drain you without adding anything meaningful? How many commitments exist only because you were afraid to say no? Those hours matter. Because every unnecessary commitment steals time from something necessary. Every meaningless conversation steals attention from meaningful work. Every unnecessary yes weakens an important no. Remember this. Every decision has two sides. When you say yes to distraction, you say no to focus. When you say yes to endless scrolling, you say no to learning. When you say yes to people-pleasing, you say no to self-respect. When you say yes to comfort, you often say no to growth. When you say yes to excuses, you say no to your potential. Life is built by these invisible exchanges. The problem is that most people never notice them. They only notice the results years later. The unfinished dream. The neglected health. The broken relationship. The missed opportunity. The constant feeling that life slipped away too quickly. But life did not disappear suddenly. It disappeared one careless decision at a time. You have a choice. Become intentional. Or become accidental. Think about the most successful people you admire. They are not successful because they say yes to everything. In fact, they are often successful because they say no more often than everyone else. They protect their mornings. They protect their attention. They protect their schedules. They protect their health. They understand something many people forget. Every yes has a price. Warren Buffett once said that the difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. Think about that. Not because they are selfish. Because they understand focus. Because they understand opportunity cost. Because they understand that scattered attention creates scattered results. You must learn the same lesson. Imagine your life as a bank account. Every morning you receive a limited number of hours. 24. No more. No less. You cannot borrow tomorrow's hours. You cannot save today's unused hours. You must spend them. The only question is where. Would you hand your entire bank account to strangers every morning? Of course not. Then why hand them your time so easily? Protect it. Respect it. Invest it. Because every hour invested wisely becomes part of the future you are building. Every hour wasted becomes part of the life you regret. That is the truth. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. That's the key. Sometimes protecting your life requires difficult decisions. Leaving a job that destroys your peace. Ending a relationship built on disrespect. Walking away from endless drama. Turning off your phone. Declining invitations. Creating boundaries. These decisions are uncomfortable. But discomfort is temporary. Living someone else's life is permanent. Do not confuse kindness with self-abandonment. You can be compassionate without sacrificing your future. You can help others without destroying yourself. You can love people without allowing them to consume your entire existence. Healthy boundaries are not walls. They are doors. You decide who enters. You decide how long they stay. You decide what deserves your attention. That responsibility belongs to you. No one else. Ask yourself this question. If your time were visible, if every hour appeared as a golden coin, would you spend it the same way? Would you waste 3 hours arguing online? Would you spend another evening with people who constantly drain your spirit? Would you continue watching content that teaches you nothing? Would you keep postponing the work that could change your future? Probably not. The only reason time feels cheap is because you receive it 1 hour at a time. But when you reach the end of life, you discover how valuable every hour truly was. Don't wait until then. Realize it now. You have a choice. Choose people who inspire growth. Choose work that creates meaning. Choose habits that strengthen you. Choose conversations that matter. Choose silence over unnecessary noise. Choose learning over endless entertainment. Choose discipline over temporary comfort. Every choice shapes your identity. Every decision writes another page of your story. Remember something important. Saying no to one thing is saying yes to something greater. When you say no to distraction, you say yes to purpose. When you say no to unnecessary obligations, you say yes to freedom. When you say no to toxic relationships, you say yes to peace. When you say no to excuses, you say yes to transformation. Do not fear the word no. It is one of the most powerful words in a meaningful life. Without it, your calendar belongs to everyone else. Without it, your dreams become optional. Without it, your future becomes crowded with things you never truly wanted. That is why every morning you should ask yourself one simple question. What deserves my life today? Not what demands it. Not what shouts the loudest. Not what everyone else expects. What deserves it? Maybe today your health deserves it. Maybe your family deserves it. Maybe your unfinished project deserves it. Maybe your education deserves it. Maybe your peace deserves it. Maybe your rest deserves it. Would you keep postponing the work that could change your future? Probably not. The only reason time feels cheap is because you receive it 1 hour at a time. But when you reach the end of life, you discover how valuable every hour truly was. Don't wait until then. Realize it now. You have a choice. Every hour, every conversation, every commitment, every opportunity, every distraction. Ask yourself, is this worth a piece of my life? If the answer is yes, give it your full attention. If the answer is no, walk away without guilt. Because your time is limited. Your energy is limited. Your attention is limited. Your life is limited. Spend it on what deserves it. Protect it from what doesn't. Build it around what matters. And never forget this simple truth. You are not deciding how to spend your time. You are deciding how to spend your life. Choose wisely. Your best hours are being stolen. Not by force. Not by accident. By permission. You wake up with energy. You wake up with potential. You wake up with a fresh mind capable of thinking, creating, building, solving, and changing your future. Then you reach for your phone. One notification. One message. One video. One headline. One quick check. And suddenly, 30 minutes are gone. Then an hour. Your attention is scattered. Your mind is crowded. Your energy is weaker. And the work that could actually change your life receives whatever is left. Think about that. You are giving your best energy to distraction. Then giving your dreams the leftovers. And you wonder why progress feels so difficult. You wonder why you cannot focus. You wonder why your goals remain unfinished. You wonder why you feel busy but accomplish so little. The answer may be simpler than you think. Your best hours are going to the wrong things. You have a choice. Protect your attention. Or watch the world spend it for you. That's the key. Your attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess. More valuable than money. Because you can lose money and earn it again. You can lose possessions and replace them. But the attention you gave away yesterday is gone forever. That hour is gone. That morning is gone. That opportunity to create, learn, think, build, connect, or grow is gone. You cannot recover it. And yet most people protect their money more carefully than they protect their attention. They would never give a stranger $50 every 10 minutes. But they give strangers 10 minutes of attention without thinking. A video. A post. A notification. An argument. A piece of gossip. Another headline. Another meaningless conversation. 10 minutes. Then 10 more. Then 10 more. By the end of the day, hours have disappeared. By the end of the year, months have disappeared. By the end of a life, how much has disappeared? That is the real cost of distraction. Distraction does not simply steal your minutes. It steals your potential. Where your attention goes, your life goes. Remember that. Where your attention goes, your life goes. If your attention goes toward learning, you grow. If your attention goes toward your health, you become stronger. If your attention goes toward meaningful relationships, they deepen. If your attention goes toward focused work, you create results. But if your attention constantly goes toward noise, outrage, entertainment, comparison, and endless consumption, what are you building? Nothing. You are consuming your life while producing nothing with it. That is the truth. And the world is designed to make this easy. There are entire industries competing for your attention. Teams of intelligent people study human behavior to discover how to keep you watching, scrolling, clicking, reacting, returning. They understand something you may have forgotten. Your attention has value. That is why everyone wants it. The question is, do you value it enough to protect it? You have a choice. Become the owner of your attention. Or remain the product of someone else's system. That's the key. Most people do not intentionally choose distraction. They drift into it. They tell themselves, I'll check for 5 minutes. But 5 minutes becomes 20. 20 becomes 60. Then they look at the clock and feel guilty. Now the guilt makes the important task feel even more difficult. So what do? They distract themselves again. This creates a cycle. Distraction. Guilt. Avoidance. More distraction. And every repetition makes the cycle stronger. You must break it. Not tomorrow. Today. Because distraction is not a small problem. It is a life problem. Your future requires focused attention. Your goals require focused attention. Your relationships require focused attention. Your health requires focused attention. Anything meaningful requires your ability to remain present long enough to create progress. You cannot build a remarkable life with constantly interrupted attention. It is impossible. Imagine trying to dig a well. You dig 1 foot deep. Then move to another location. Dig 1 foot. Move again. Dig another foot. Move again. At the end of the day, you are exhausted. You worked hard. You were busy. But did you find water? No. Why? Because depth requires staying in one place. Your work is the same. Your growth is the same. Your thinking is the same. Depth requires focus. But modern life trains you to remain shallow. Read 1 sentence. Check the phone. Write 1 paragraph. Answer a message. Work for 5 minutes. Open another tab. Start a conversation. Return to work. Check the news. Watch a video. By the end of the day, your mind is exhausted. Not because you did meaningful work. Because you constantly switched your attention. You have a choice. Stay scattered. Or go deep. That's the key. 1 focused hour can create more progress than 5 distracted hours. Think about that. You do not always need more time. You need better attention. You do not always need to work longer. You need to work deeper. You do not always need another productivity system. You need to remove the things that keep interrupting you. It's not about having more hours. It's about protecting the hours you already have. Look at your day. When are you at your best? Early morning? Late morning? Afternoon? Evening? There is a period when your mind is naturally sharper. Your energy is higher. Your thinking is clearer. Those are your best hours. What receives them? Be honest. Does your most important work receive them? Does your health receive them? Does your dream receive them? Or does your phone receive them? Do emails receive them? Do meaningless meetings receive them? Does entertainment receive them? Do other people's priorities receive them? Then your own future receives whatever energy remains. Stop doing that. Your dream should not receive the exhausted version of you every day. Your family should not receive the exhausted version of you every day. Your health should not receive the exhausted version of you every day. You must decide what deserves your best energy, and then protect it. You don't need their permission. You don't need everyone to understand your boundaries. You don't need to answer every message immediately. You don't need to respond to every notification. You don't need to know what everyone is doing. You don't need to consume every piece of news. You need to focus. That may mean turning off notifications. Do it. That may mean placing your phone in another room. Do it. That may mean waking up and refusing to look at a screen for the first hour. Do it. That may mean telling people you are unavailable during certain hours. Do it. That may mean closing the door, leaving the group chat, deleting the application, blocking the website, creating distance from the distraction. Do it. Stop negotiating with the things that are destroying your focus. If something repeatedly steals your time, remove your access to it. That is discipline. People make discipline unnecessarily complicated. They think discipline means constantly fighting temptation. Sometimes discipline means removing the temptation. You have a choice. Spend all day resisting. Or create an environment that makes focus easier. That's the key. If your phone is beside you, you will think about it. If notifications are active, you will notice them. If 10 browser tabs are open, your attention will move between them. If distractions are easily available, you will eventually use them. Your environment matters. Design it. Make important actions easy. Make distracting actions difficult. Put the book where you can see it. Put the phone where you cannot reach it. Prepare your workout clothes. Clear your workspace. Close unnecessary tabs. Decide what you will work on before the work begins. Small changes. Powerful results. Because focus is not only about willpower. It is about preparation. You must also learn to tolerate boredom. This is important. Modern distraction has trained people to fear empty moments. Standing in line? Check the phone. Waiting for food? Check the phone. Sitting alone? Check the phone. 5 seconds of silence? Find stimulation. But boredom is not your enemy. Boredom creates space. Space for thought. Space for creativity. Space for awareness. Space for ideas. Some of your best thinking will happen when nothing else is demanding your attention. But if you fill every empty moment with consumption, when will your mind create? When will you think deeply? When will you hear your own thoughts? When will you discover what you actually want? You need silence. You need empty space. You need moments when nothing is happening. Not because you are wasting time. Because you are recovering your attention. You have a choice. Consume constantly. Or create space to think. The people who change their lives are often not the people with the most talent. They are the people who can stay focused longer than everyone else. While others are scrolling, they are building. While others are watching, they are practicing. While others are reacting, they are thinking. While others are consuming, they are creating. Not for one day. Again. And again. And again. That repetition creates extraordinary results. 1 focused hour every day. Think about what that could become. 7 focused hours every week. More than 300 focused hours every year. What could you build with 300 hours of deep attention? A business? A book? A new skill? A stronger body? A better financial future? A completely different life? Probably. But most people never discover the answer because those hours disappear into distraction. 10 minutes here. 20 minutes there. 1 hour tonight. 2 hours tomorrow. The cost seems small. Until you calculate the years. Stop giving your future the leftovers. Your future deserves your focus. You have a choice. Tomorrow morning, you can wake up and enter the noise. Or you can wake up and protect the first hour. You can create before you consume. Think before you react. Build before you browse. Move your body before you check notifications. Work on your dream before you work on everyone else's demands. Protect your best hours. Because those hours have power. They can change your direction. They can build your skills. They can strengthen your mind. They can create opportunities. They can transform your future. But only if you use them. Remember this. You do not need more time. You need fewer distractions. You do not need more potential. You do not need another year. You need to use today deliberately. Where your attention goes, your life goes. So protect your attention. Stop giving the best version of yourself to things that do not matter. Stop giving your sharpest hours to screens. Stop giving your strongest energy to noise. Stop giving your life away 10 distracted minutes at a time. You have a choice. Distraction or direction. Consumption or creation. Noise or focus. Regret or progress. Choose. Then choose again tomorrow. And again the day after that. Because your attention is your life in motion. Spend it carefully. Guard it relentlessly. And never again give your best hours to distraction. There is something you are avoiding. You know exactly what it is. The difficult conversation. The important project. The workout. The decision. The phone call. The truth you do not want to face. The task sitting at the back of your mind, consuming energy even when you are not working on it. You keep delaying it. You keep moving it to tomorrow. You keep telling yourself you will handle it when you feel stronger. When you have more energy. When you have more confidence. When the timing is better. But the timing does not become better. The task becomes heavier. That is the truth. The longer you avoid something difficult, the more power you give it. You think delay makes life easier. It does not. Delay extends the pain. You have a choice. Face the difficulty now. Or carry it with you everywhere. That's the key. Most people organize their days around comfort. They wake up and do what feels easy. Check messages. Answer emails. Complete small tasks. Organize the desk. Make another list. Watch another video. Handle something unimportant. And they feel productive. But the difficult task remains. Waiting. The difficult task is still there at noon. Still there in the afternoon. Still there in the evening. And now something has changed. You are tired. Your energy is lower. Your attention is weaker. Your willpower is reduced. So you make another promise. Tomorrow. Tomorrow morning I will do it. But tomorrow arrives. And the cycle repeats. Stop. Do the hard thing first. Not because it is easy. Because it is hard. Not because you feel ready. Because waiting will not make you ready. Not because you are confident. Because action builds confidence. You have a choice. Temporary discomfort. Or permanent avoidance. Choose your discomfort. Because discomfort is unavoidable. You can experience the discomfort of discipline. Or you can experience the discomfort of regret. You can experience the discomfort of the difficult conversation. Or you can experience the discomfort of unresolved tension. You can experience the discomfort of exercise. Or you can experience the consequences of neglecting your health. You can experience the discomfort of focused work. Or you can experience the frustration of remaining stuck. You do not get to choose whether life contains discomfort. You only choose which discomfort you are willing to carry. That's the key. Think about something you have been avoiding. Maybe you need to have a conversation with someone. You know the relationship is damaged. You know something needs to be said. You replay the conversation in your mind. You imagine every possible outcome. You worry about their reaction. So you wait. 1 day. 1 week. 1 month. And during that time, the problem does not disappear. It follows you. You think about it while working. You think about it while eating. You think about it before sleeping. The conversation may take 20 minutes. But avoiding it consumes 20 days of mental energy. That is the cost of delay. The task itself is often smaller than the burden of avoiding it. Remember that. The task is often smaller than the burden of avoiding it. You have a choice. Do it. Or continue thinking about doing it. One creates freedom. The other creates anxiety. Consider the student who has an important exam approaching. They know they need to study. But studying feels difficult. So they clean their room. They organize their notes. They watch videos about how to study. They create a perfect schedule. They tell themselves they are preparing. But they are not studying. Why? Because preparation feels easier than execution. Then the exam gets closer. Pressure increases. Fear increases. The amount of work increases. What could have been handled calmly over several weeks becomes a crisis. This happens everywhere. People avoid small problems until they become large problems. They ignore financial problems until debt becomes overwhelming. They ignore health problems until the body forces them to pay attention. They ignore relationship problems until communication disappears. They ignore important work until deadlines create panic. They ignore difficult decisions until circumstances make the decision for them. Stop waiting for problems to become emergencies. Do the hard thing first. You do not need their permission. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need another week of thinking. You need to act. That's the key. There is enormous power in completing something difficult early. When you face the hardest task first, everything else becomes lighter. Your mind becomes clearer. Your energy returns. Your confidence grows. You stop carrying unfinished business through the entire day. Think about how you feel after finally completing something you delayed for weeks. Relief, freedom, energy, and then you ask yourself, why did I wait so long? You have experienced this before. Everyone has. The phone call you avoided took 5 minutes. The email you delayed took 10 minutes. The task you feared took 1 hour. But you spent days thinking about it. That is not efficient. That is not peaceful. That is not intentional living. Do the hard thing first. Make it a rule. When the day begins, ask yourself, what am I most likely to avoid today? Then face it. Not the easiest task. Not the most enjoyable task. Not the task that makes you look busy. The task that matters. The task that creates progress. The task that requires courage. Start there. You have a choice. Protect your comfort. Or protect your future. You cannot always do both. Growth requires tension. Muscles grow through resistance. Skills grow through practice. Confidence grows through action. Character grows through difficulty. You do not become stronger by avoiding what challenges you. You become stronger by facing it. Again. And again. And again. That repetition matters. One difficult action will not transform your entire life. But the habit of facing difficulty will. Imagine becoming someone who does not run from hard things. Someone who sees the uncomfortable task and begins. Someone who hears fear and moves anyway. Someone who faces problems while they are small. Someone who says what needs to be said. Someone who keeps promises to themselves. What would happen to your life? Your confidence would change. Your relationships would change. Your work would change. Your health would change. Your future would change. Not because life became easier. Because you became stronger. That is the goal. You are not trying to create a life without difficulty. That life does not exist. You are trying to become someone who can handle difficulty. There is a difference. Weakness says, I hope nothing difficult happens. Strength says, when difficulty comes, I will face it. You have a choice. Spend your life trying to avoid discomfort. Or build yourself into someone discomfort cannot control. That's the key. Start small. You do not need to climb the entire mountain today. Take the first step. If the project feels overwhelming, work for 20 minutes. If the workout feels difficult, begin with 10 minutes. If the conversation frightens you, write down what needs to be said. If the financial problem feels enormous, look at the numbers. If the decision feels complicated, identify the next action. Break difficulty into movement. One step. Then another. Then another. The goal is not to feel fearless. The goal is to stop obeying fear. Fear can speak. You can still move. Doubt can exist. You can still act. Discomfort can be present. You can still begin. That is discipline. It's not about feeling ready. It's about acting before comfort gives you permission. And understand this. The hard thing will not always look dramatic. Sometimes the hard thing is waking up when the alarm rings. Sometimes it is turning off your phone. Sometimes it is saying no. Sometimes it is apologizing. Sometimes it is asking for help. Sometimes it is sitting alone with your thoughts. Sometimes it is leaving. Sometimes it is staying. Sometimes it is admitting that you were wrong. Sometimes it is starting again after failure. Difficulty takes many forms. But the principle remains the same. Face it. Do not carry it longer than necessary. You have limited energy. Every unfinished task occupies space in your mind. Every delayed decision demands attention. Every avoided problem creates background pressure. Close the loops. Finish what needs finishing. Say what needs saying. Decide what needs deciding. Begin what needs beginning. Free your mind. Free your energy. Free your time. You have a choice. Carry the weight. Or put it down by doing the work. Tomorrow morning, do not begin your day by asking, "What do I feel like doing?" That question will lead you toward comfort. Ask, "What matters most?" Then ask, "What am I most likely to avoid?" If the answers point toward the same task, you know exactly where to begin. Do it before the world distracts you. Do it before your energy disappears. Do it before you create another excuse. Do it first. You may not enjoy it. Do it anyway. You may feel afraid. Do it anyway. You may doubt yourself. Do it anyway. You may not know exactly how everything will work. Take the first step anyway. Because action changes your emotional state. Movement creates momentum. Progress creates motivation. And completed difficulty creates confidence. That confidence matters. Every time you do something difficult, you send yourself a message. I can trust myself. Think about that. Self-confidence is not built by repeating positive words while constantly breaking promises to yourself. Self-confidence is built through evidence. You say you will do something. Then you do it. You say you will wake up. Then you wake up. You say you will train. Then you train. You say you will finish the work. Then you finish it. You say you will have the conversation. Then you have it. Evidence. Again. And again. That is how you become someone you can trust. You have a choice. Keep making promises, or start creating proof. Your future does not need another promise. It needs action. So look at your life. What are you avoiding? What are you postponing? What are you carrying unnecessarily? You already know. Stop running. Stop planning around it. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop hoping it disappears. Turn toward it. Face it. Begin. Do the hard thing. Do it early. Do it deliberately. Do it before distraction steals your attention. Do it before excuses become stronger. Do it before another day disappears. You have a choice. The pain of discipline, or the weight of avoidance. The discomfort of action, or the burden of regret. Choose. Then move. Because the difficult task you complete today becomes the strength you carry tomorrow. Do the hard thing first. And make the rest of your life lighter. You say your health matters. Show me your calendar. You say your family matters. Show me your calendar. You say your dream matters. Show me your calendar. You say you want to learn, grow, build, change, improve. Show me your calendar. Because your priorities are not revealed by what you say. They are revealed by where your time goes. That is the truth. Anyone can say something matters. Anyone can talk about goals. Anyone can describe the future they want. But words cost nothing. Time costs your life. And what you repeatedly give your time to reveals what is actually important to you. Not what you wish were important. Not what you tell other people is important. What is actually important? You have a choice. Live according to your intentions. Or live according to your priorities. That's the key. Most people have two different lives. The life they say they want, and the life their calendar is creating. They say, my health is important. But exercise is never scheduled. Sleep is sacrificed. Meals are rushed. Stress is ignored. Then they say, I just don't have time. They say, my family is everything. But every conversation is interrupted by a phone. Every meal is rushed. Every weekend is filled with unnecessary obligations. Then they wonder why relationships become distant. They say, I want to build a business. But the business receives 20 minutes when everything else is finished. They say, I want to write a book. But writing never appears on the calendar. They say, I want to learn a new skill. But entertainment receives 3 hours every evening. Do you see the problem? Your calendar does not care about your intentions. It only records your decisions. That's the key. You can want something deeply and still give it no time. You can care about something emotionally and still neglect it practically. You can dream about something for 10 years and never schedule one serious hour to pursue it. Desire is not enough. Intention is not enough. Talking is not enough. What matters must receive time. You have a choice. Schedule what matters. Or accept that less important things will consume your life. Look at the previous 7 days. Do it honestly. Imagine your entire week written in front of you. 168 hours. Where did they go? How many hours went to sleep? How many went to work? How many went to commuting? How many went to your phone? How many went to television? How many went to meaningless conversations? How many went to worrying? How many went to things you cannot even remember? Now ask yourself, how many hours went toward your future? How many went toward your health? How many went toward meaningful relationships? How many went toward learning? How many went toward your most important goal? Do not judge yourself. Observe yourself. The truth is more useful than guilt. Guilt says, I am terrible. Awareness says, this needs to change. Choose awareness. Because you cannot change what you refuse to examine. You have a choice. Protect your excuses or examine your reality. That's the key. Many people say they do not have enough time. But often, the real problem is not a lack of time. It is a lack of priority. This does not mean everyone has equal circumstances. They do not. Some people have more responsibilities. Some people work longer hours. Some people care for children. Some people care for aging parents. Some people are dealing with serious challenges. Life is not equal. But whatever time you do control still matters. Maybe you do not have 5 free hours. You have 30 minutes. Maybe you do not have an entire morning. You have 1 focused hour. Maybe you cannot completely change your schedule. Can you protect one small part of it? That is where change begins. Stop waiting for large amounts of free time. Free time rarely appears. You must create space for what matters. That's the key. If something is important, give it a place. A time. A beginning. A boundary. Do not say, I will exercise more. When, do not say, I will work on my dream. When, do not say, I will spend more time with my family. When, do not say, I will read. When, vague intentions create vague results. Specific commitments create action. Tuesday, 7 in the morning, 30 minutes. Phone off. Shoes on. Begin. That is real. Saturday, 3 in the afternoon, 2 hours. Door closed. Work on the project. That is real. Every evening. Dinner. Phone away. Talk to the people you love. That is real. What matters needs a place in your life. Otherwise, it will always be pushed aside by something louder. Urgency will always attack importance. Remember that. Urgency will always attack importance. There will always be another email, another message, another problem, another request, another small emergency. If you wait until everything urgent is finished before doing what matters, you will wait forever. The urgent never ends. That is why you must schedule importance first. Not after everything else. First you have a choice. Give your priorities the best time. Or give them whatever is left. Most people give their dreams the leftovers. Leftover time. Leftover energy. Leftover attention. They spend their strongest hours working on other people's goals. Then they come home exhausted and expect themselves to build their own future. They say, I'll work on it tonight. Tonight arrives, they are tired. They watch something, they scroll. They postpone. Then tomorrow, they repeat the same cycle. 1 year later, nothing has changed. Why? Because what mattered never received protected time. Your future cannot survive on leftovers. Your health cannot survive on leftovers. Your relationships cannot survive on leftovers. Your dreams cannot survive on leftovers. Give important things your best energy. That does not mean you abandon your responsibilities. It means you stop pretending. Your goals will somehow complete themselves. You have to create room. You have to make decisions. You have to say no. You have to remove something. That is the part most people avoid. They want new priorities without changing old commitments. They want to exercise without giving up an hour of entertainment. They want to build a business without reducing unnecessary social activities. They want deeper relationships without putting the phone away. They want to learn without sacrificing comfort. But you cannot add forever. Something must go. That is the truth. Every new priority requires a sacrifice. If you want more time for health, something else must receive less time. If you want more time for your dream, something else must receive less time. If you want more time for your family, something else must receive less time. You have a choice. Protect everything. Or prioritize something. You cannot do both. That's the key. Your calendar is a mirror. Look into it. What does it say about you? Does it say you are focused or distracted? Does it say you value health or neglect it? Does it say relationships matter or only when convenient? Does it say your dream is serious or optional? Your calendar will tell you the truth. You may not like the answer. Good. Use it.do, not waste energy defending yourself. Do not explain. Do not create excuses. Adjust. Move things. Remove things. Protect things. Change the calendar. Change the behavior. Change the future. You have a choice. Continue repeating the same week. Or design a better one. Imagine what would happen if you protected just 1 hour every day. 1 hour. Focused. Deliberate. Undistracted. 1 hour for your most important goal. 7 hours every week. More than 360 hours every year. Think about that. What could 360 focused hours create? You could write a book, build a business, transform your body, learn a valuable skill, improve your financial situation, strengthen an important relationship, change the direction of your life. 1 hour. The problem is not always that change requires too much time. The problem is that distraction receives the time change requires. Read that again in your mind. Distraction receives the time change requires. You have a choice. Keep giving those hours away. Or take them back. That's the key. Start with tomorrow. Not next month. Not next year. Tomorrow. Look at your schedule. What is the most important thing you need to do? Where is it? Is it actually scheduled? Or are you simply hoping you will find time? Hope is not a system. Put it on the calendar. Protect it. When the time arrives. Show up. Do not negotiate. Do not ask how you feel. Do not wait for motivation. Show up. Because every time you keep a scheduled commitment to yourself, you build trust. You prove that your goals matter. You prove that your future matters. You prove that your word matters. And that changes you. Most people break promises to themselves constantly. They say, "Tomorrow morning I will start." Morning arrives. They sleep longer. "I'll do it tonight." Night arrives. They are tired. "I'll start Monday." Monday arrives. Another excuse appears. Every broken promise weakens self-trust. But every kept promise strengthens it. That is why your calendar matters. It is not only a productivity tool. It is a commitment. A promise. A declaration. This time belongs to something important. Protect it. You don't need their permission. You don't need everyone to understand. You don't need to explain why you are unavailable. You need to decide what deserves your life. Then give it time. Real time. Protected time. Repeated time. Because repetition creates results. 1 Workout changes little. 100 Workouts transform the body. 1 Focused hour changes little. 300 Focused hours transform a skill. 1 Meaningful conversation changes little. Years of consistent attention transform a relationship. Life is built through repetition. And repetition requires time. That's the key. Your calendar becomes your future because your calendar controls your repetition. What you schedule, you repeat. What you repeat, you become. Remember that. What you schedule, you repeat. What you repeat, you become. So stop telling yourself what matters. Show yourself. Schedule it. Protect it. Live it. Look at your days. Look at your weeks. Look at your hours. They are telling a story. The story of what you truly value. The story of where your life is going. The story of who you are becoming. If you do not like the story, change the schedule. You have a choice. Keep saying your health matters. Or schedule the workout. Keep saying your family matters. Or give them your full attention. Keep saying your dream matters. Or protect time to build it. Keep saying you want to change. Or put change on the calendar. Words are easy. Time is proof. Your priorities are not what you announce. Your priorities are not what you intend. Your priorities are not what you wish. Your priorities are where your hours go. So look carefully. Choose deliberately. Schedule what matters. Protect what matters. Repeat what matters. Because your calendar is becoming your future. 1 hour at a time. You keep telling yourself that life will be better later. Later, when you have more money. Later, when you get the promotion. Later, when the business succeeds. Later, when you move into the better house. Later, when you finally reach the goal. Then you will relax. Then you will enjoy yourself. Then you will spend more time with the people you love. Then you will finally feel successful. Then you will live. But there is a problem. Later keeps moving. Every time you reach the future you were waiting for. another future appears, another goal, another target, another level, another reason to delay your happiness, and if you are not careful, you will spend your entire life chasing a future that never arrives. That is the truth. You have a choice. Build your future or sacrifice your entire present trying to reach it. That's the key. There is nothing wrong with ambition. There is nothing wrong with wanting more. More growth, more freedom, more success, more opportunity, more achievement. Ambition can transform your life. But ambition without awareness can also destroy your ability to experience it. You can become so focused on reaching the next level that you never appreciate the level you are standing on. You can become so obsessed with tomorrow that you become absent from today. You can spend 20 years building a better life and never actually live the life you built. That is the danger. Most people do not notice when ambition becomes escape. They tell themselves, I am doing this for my family. But they never see their family. They say, I am working hard so I can enjoy life someday. But someday is always 5 years away. They say, I just need to reach this goal. They reach it, then immediately create another. The finish line moves. Again, and again, and again. Ask yourself, when will enough be enough? When will you allow yourself to arrive? When will you stop treating your present life as a temporary inconvenience standing between you and happiness? You have a choice. Chase forever. Or learn how to build while being present. That's the key. Think about a parent working constantly. They leave early. They return late. They miss dinners. They miss conversations. They miss ordinary evenings. They tell themselves, I am doing this for my children. Years pass. The career grows. The income increases. The house becomes larger. But the children grow too. And one day, the parent finally has more time. But the children no longer need it in the same way. The opportunity has changed. The season has passed. The money can buy many things. But it cannot buy those evenings back. Understand that. Every season of life has experiences that cannot be postponed. Your children will only be young once. Your parents will only be this age once. Your body will only have this level of energy once. Your friendships will only exist in their current form once. You will only be this version of yourself once. You cannot store these moments and experience them later. Life does not work that way. That is why you must stop trading everything you have for everything you hope to get. You have a choice. Prepare for tomorrow. But do not abandon today. This does not mean stop working. It does not mean stop planning. It does not mean give up your goals. It means stop using your goals as an excuse to remain absent from your life. Build the future. But do not abandon the present. That's the key. There is a difference between sacrifice and self-destruction. Sometimes you must sacrifice comfort. Sometimes you must work long hours. Sometimes you must say no to entertainment. Sometimes you must focus intensely. Sometimes a season of life requires extraordinary effort. But a season is not forever. The problem begins when temporary sacrifice becomes permanent existence. You keep saying, just one more year. Then another. You keep postponing rest. Postponing relationships. Postponing health. Postponing joy. Until you no longer remember how to experience anything except pressure. That is not success. Success that costs your ability to live is failure wearing expensive clothes. Remember that. You have a choice. Own your ambition, or allow your ambition to own you. Many people believe they will become happy after achieving something. But achievement creates a strange problem. The emotional reward rarely lasts as long as expected. You reach the goal. For a moment you feel proud, relieved, excited. Then your mind adjusts. The extraordinary becomes normal. And soon you want something else. This is human nature. The new car becomes your car. The new house becomes your house. The promotion becomes your job. The achievement becomes your history. Then the mind asks, what's next? If you do not understand this pattern, you will become trapped inside it. Achieve. Adjust. Want more. Achieve. Adjust. Want more. Forever. You must learn to appreciate what you have while building what you want. Both. Not one or the other. Both. That's the key. Gratitude does not destroy ambition. Gratitude gives ambition perspective. You can say, I want more from my life, and still say, I appreciate my life today. You can work toward a better future and still enjoy dinner with your family. You can build a business and still notice the sunset. You can pursue excellence and still rest. You can want improvement without treating your current existence like a failure. That is maturity. You have a choice. Live in permanent dissatisfaction. Or learn to grow without becoming blind to what you already have. Look around your life. What are you currently taking for granted? Your health? Someone you love? Your home? Your freedom? Your ability to walk? Your ability to see? Your ability to hear? A friendship? A peaceful morning? Something you consider ordinary today may become something you desperately miss tomorrow. That is not pessimism. That is reality. Life changes. People leave. Bodies age. Circumstances shift. Seasons end. You must learn to notice value before absence teaches it to you. Read that again in your mind. Notice value before absence teaches it to you. Too many people understand what mattered only after losing it. They appreciate health after illness, time after aging, relationships after separation, peace after chaos, opportunity after it disappears. Do not wait for loss to teach you gratitude. Pay attention now. You have a choice. Notice what you have. Or wait until it becomes what you had. That's the key. Maybe you believe you cannot enjoy the present because your life is not where you want it to be. Understandable. Maybe you are struggling financially. Maybe your career is uncertain. Maybe your goals feel distant. Maybe you are carrying responsibilities nobody else sees. Being present does not mean pretending your problems do not exist. It means refusing to allow those problems to consume every part of your existence. You can have problems and still experience a meaningful conversation. You can be uncertain about the future and still enjoy a quiet morning. You can work toward change and still appreciate one small thing today. Life does not need to become perfect before you are allowed to experience it. Because perfect is not coming, there will always be something to solve, something to improve, something to worry about, something unfinished. If you require complete peace before allowing yourself to live, you will never live. You have a choice. Wait for perfect conditions. or become present inside imperfect conditions. That is strength. Ask yourself, what exactly am I chasing? Why do I want it? What do I believe it will give me? Freedom, respect, security, peace, approval, happiness? Then ask, is there any way I can create some of that experience now? Maybe you want money because you want freedom. Can you create small moments of freedom today? Maybe you want success because you want respect. Can you begin respecting yourself today? Maybe you want a large house because you want peace. Can you create peace in the room you already have? Maybe you want recognition because you want to feel valuable. Can you stop waiting for strangers to decide your value? Sometimes the future goal is not really the goal. The feeling behind it is. Understand what you are actually chasing. That's the key. You do not need their permission to enjoy your own life. You do not need to reach a certain income first. You do not need a certain number of followers. You do not need everyone to admire you. You do not need to become somebody else before appreciating who you are becoming. You need awareness. You need balance. You need presence. Because life is not only about reaching destinations. Life is what happens during the journey toward them. Yes, that sounds simple. But most people forget it. They rush through Monday to reach Friday. Rush through the year to reach vacation. Rush through work to reach retirement. Rush through one goal to reach the next. Always rushing. Always chasing. Always waiting. Then one day they look backward and realize the journey was their life. You have a choice. Keep rushing through it, or start experiencing it. Slow down enough to notice the meal, the conversation, the work, the walk, the silence, the person sitting beside you. Be there, not forever, just now. That is all presence requires. Now, tomorrow will arrive soon enough. You do not need to drag it into today. Your future needs your effort. Give it effort. Your present needs your attention. Give it attention. That is the balance. Work when it is time to work. Rest when it is time to rest. Listen when someone is speaking. Eat when you are eating. Walk when you are walking. Be where you are. You have a choice. Live one life fully. Or live 10 imaginary lives while missing the real one. Build the future. Yes, dream bigger. Yes, work harder. Yes, become stronger. Yes, but do not abandon today. Do not sacrifice every relationship. Do not ignore your health. Do not postpone every meaningful experience. Do not tell yourself you will start living when everything becomes easier. It may never become easier, and even if it does, you may have forgotten how to live by then. Remember this. The future is important. But the future is not where life happens. Life happens now. This conversation, this breath, this day, this opportunity, this moment. You have a choice. Keep telling yourself, one day. Or recognize that one day is built from days like this. Build your future. But do not abandon your present. Chase your goals. But do not become blind to your life. Create more. But appreciate what already exists. Work hard. But remember why you are working, because tomorrow cannot return what today refused to appreciate. The money can return. The opportunity can return. Success can come later. But this day is leaving. Right now. So use it. Experience it. Respect it. Be present for it. And stop trading your entire life for an imaginary future that keeps moving further away. Your life is disappearing one yes at a time. Yes to another request. Yes to another obligation. Yes to another meeting. Yes to another favor. Yes to another invitation you do not want to accept. Yes to another responsibility that was never yours to carry. And every time you say yes to something that does not matter, you are saying no to something that does. Your health, your peace, your family, your goals, your future, your life. That is the truth. You cannot say yes to everything and still have time for what matters. You cannot be available to everyone and remain available to yourself. You cannot protect every relationship, every expectation, every opportunity, and every demand without eventually sacrificing something important. And too often, the thing you sacrifice is yourself. You have a choice. Learn to say no. Or watch your life disappear beneath obligations you never truly wanted. That's the key. Most people do not struggle with time management. They struggle with boundaries. They know what matters. They know what they should be doing. They know what deserves their attention. But then someone asks for something, and they say yes. Why? Because they do not want to disappoint anyone. They do not want to appear selfish. They do not want conflict. They do not want rejection. They want to be liked. Needed. Accepted. Approved. So they say yes. Then they become exhausted, resentful, overwhelmed, and angry at the people they agreed to help. But the problem did not begin when the person asked. The problem began when you abandoned your own boundaries. Understand that a request is not a command. An invitation is not an obligation. Someone else's expectation is not automatically your responsibility. You have a choice. You can disappoint someone temporarily. Or disappoint yourself repeatedly. Choose. Because somebody may be disappointed either way. If you say no, they may be disappointed. If you say yes when you want to say no, you may become disappointed in yourself. You may lose time, energy, focus, peace. Which cost are you willing to pay? That's the key. People-pleasing looks like kindness from the outside. But often, underneath it is fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of conflict, fear of being misunderstood, fear that if you stop giving people what they want, they will stop liking you. That is not freedom. That is dependence. You are allowing other people's reactions to control your decisions. Think about that. Someone does not even need authority over you. They only need the ability to make you feel guilty. And suddenly, they control your time. You have a choice. Live according to your values. Or live according to other people's reactions. You don't need their permission. You don't need universal approval. You don't need everyone to understand your decisions. You need the courage to protect your life. That is the truth. Some people will call you selfish when you create boundaries. Let them. Some people will say you have changed. Maybe you have. Some people will complain that you are no longer available whenever they need you. Good. You were never supposed to be available to everyone all the time. You are not a public resource. Your time belongs to you. Your attention belongs to you. Your energy belongs to you. Your life belongs to you. Protect it. That's the key. Imagine your time as a house. Every time you say yes, you open the door. One person enters. Then another. Then another. Soon, the house is crowded. There is noise everywhere. No space to think. No space to rest. No space to work. No space to breathe. And then you stand in the middle of your own house wondering why you feel trapped. You open the door. That may sound uncomfortable, but responsibility creates power. If you open the door, you can close it. You can decide who enters. You can decide how long they stay. You can decide what deserves access. That is what boundaries are. Boundaries are not punishment. Boundaries are protection. They protect your health, your relationships, your work, your peace, your future. You have a choice. Create boundaries now. Or create resentment later. Because every yes you give unwillingly plants resentment. At first, you ignore it. You say, "It's fine. I don't mind. It's not a big deal." But it is a big deal. Because you keep doing it. Again, and again, and again. Eventually you become angry. Not because people keep asking, but because you keep agreeing. You blame them. But you never told them no. You expected them to understand a boundary you never communicated. That is not fair to them. And it is not fair to you. Say what you mean. Be clear. Be respectful. Be firm. No, that does not work for me. I cannot commit to that. I am not available. I need to focus on something else. Simple. You do not need a 10-minute explanation. You do not need a dramatic excuse. You do not need to create a false emergency. No is a complete decision. Learn to use it. You have a choice. Explain yourself forever. Or accept that not everyone needs to agree. That's the key. Many people waste enormous amounts of time trying to make everyone understand their decisions. Why? You say no. Someone becomes disappointed. Then you spend 30 minutes explaining, defending, justifying, apologizing, trying to make them comfortable with your boundary. Stop. A boundary that requires everyone else's approval is not a boundary. It is a negotiation. Sometimes you must allow people to misunderstand you. That is difficult, but necessary. You cannot control every opinion. You cannot manage every reaction. You cannot make every person happy. You cannot build your life while constantly protecting everyone from disappointment. You have a choice. Be understood by everyone. Or be honest with yourself. Sometimes you cannot have both. Consider the person who wants to build a business. They have limited time. They work during the day. They have responsibilities. They only have 2 hours each evening to work on their dream. Then, invitations arrive. Come out with us. Watch this. Help me with that. Attend this event. Join this conversation. One evening disappears. Then another. Then another. They keep saying yes because they do not want to disappoint anyone. 1 year later, the business still does not exist. Who pays the price? Not the people who invited them out. They continue living their lives. The person pays. Their dream pays. Their future pays. That is the cost of unnecessary yes. Every yes has a destination. Make sure you know where it leads. You have a choice. Protect temporary comfort. Or protect long-term purpose. That's the key. You must understand opportunity cost. Every hour spent in one place cannot be spent somewhere else. That sounds obvious. But most people do not live like they understand it. 1 hour of unnecessary drama is 1 hour not spent building your future. 2 hours of meaningless entertainment are 2 hours not spent improving your health. An evening spent with people who drain you is an evening not spent recovering your energy. Time is always being exchanged. Always. The question is whether the exchange is worth it. Ask yourself, what am I saying yes to that deserves a no? Think carefully. Maybe it is a commitment. Maybe it is a habit. Maybe it is a relationship. Maybe it is an expectation. Maybe it is a distraction. Maybe it is your own desire to be liked. Something in your life is probably receiving time it no longer deserves. Identify it. Then act. Because awareness without boundaries changes nothing. You have a choice. Keep complaining that you do not have enough time. Or stop giving your time to things that do not matter. That may be uncomfortable. Do it anyway. Remember, it's not about being cruel. It's about being clear. It's not about rejecting everyone. It's about choosing deliberately. It's not about becoming selfish. It's about becoming responsible. You cannot give your best to what matters if everything has access to you. Think about your phone. Every notification is a request. Look at me. Answer me. Open me. React to me. Every notification asks for a small piece of your life. And most people say yes automatically. No decision. No thought. No intention. Just reaction. That is how time disappears. One small yes at a time. You have a choice. Respond automatically. Or decide deliberately. Turn off what does not matter. Leave what does not help. Ignore what does not deserve a response. Not every message is urgent. Not every argument needs your opinion. Not every problem needs your involvement. Not every opportunity is your opportunity. Not every open door deserves to be entered. That's the key. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. Walk away from the conversation. Walk away from the invitation. Walk away from the drama. Walk away from the expectation. Walk away from the version of yourself that needs everyone to approve. You don't need their permission. You need courage. And courage does not always look like fighting. Sometimes courage looks like saying no, then remaining silent. You have a choice. Spend your life proving yourself. Or spend your life building yourself. Stop proving. Start protecting. Protect your mornings. Protect your health. Protect your relationships. Protect your focus. Protect your peace. Protect your future. Because no one else will do it for you.
Your time is not waiting for you. The clock will keep moving whether you are courageous or afraid, whether you begin or delay, whether you live deliberately or spend another year distracted by things that never deserved your life. You have a choice. You can continue saying someday. Someday I will begin. Someday I will change. Someday I will speak. Someday I will live. Or you can finally understand the truth. Someday is made of todays. Your life is made of hours. Your future is being built by what you do next. Not tomorrow. Next. Protect your attention. Choose your priorities. Say no without guilt. Do the hard thing. Appreciate the people you love. Create before you consume. Stop waiting for permission. Your time is your life. And once it is gone, nothing can buy it back. So here is your challenge. When this audiobook ends, do not immediately open another video. Do not scroll. Do not distract yourself. Choose one thing you have been delaying. Stand up. Begin it. Do it today. Do it now. And from this moment forward, live like your time matters. Because it does.